Today, as said, we will be covering finance as a module, and under finance, we have multiple tabs. So we will be covering most of it. Let's start by setting up a salary for employees. So what I'm going to do is, in all employees, I'm quickly going to add a new employee. I'm going to name them. I'm just taking up a random name for now. Okay. Um, I'm sure that this is something that you might have covered in your initial training with Bayzat, but I'm just going to give you a quick um, run through. Now, in my case, what's the issue here is that when it comes to my payroll table, it's back in time in December 2024. Reason being, I deal with dummy data, but in your case, it's going to be live either in June or July, depending on the month and the year 2025, because we are in the active month of July. Okay, so just avoid this, but yeah, I'm going to go back in time for hiring this person since my current month open is December. Please ensure to add the hiring date in order for your salaries to be prorated. That's important. You can also add the provision date if required, and then comes legal country of residence. So I'm going to go in for UAE. Once you select the legal country of residence, your other boxes are auto-populated. Now, if I go back and choose something else, those boxes disappear. If I go back for UAE, it'll further populate the other boxes, and I further choose the relevant trade licenses, and only then will the MOL ID populate. Okay, so these are the steps how you can reach the MOL ID section where you can set the MOL ID. Now, how to find the MOL ID? Here's a quick view of how it would look like on the ID and where you can pick it up from. So I'm going to choose a random number for now. Okay. Once everything is set, if you want to send the employee an invite so that they can just go ahead and create a profile, you can do so. But for now, I'm just going to avoid that. And I'm going to go ahead and create the employee profile. Okay. Okay. So once the employee is, created, the next step for us is going to payroll. Okay. In payroll, you will see that in the salary configuration, there's nothing added. In active payroll cycle, it's nothing, right? So the first step here is to configure the salary. Click on Add Salary Configuration. Choose the base currency from here. We have multiple currencies. Choose the salary proration date. It's going to automatically choose in my case because I have chosen the higher date as 1st of November. And I add the basic salary, say it's 6,000. I can also go ahead and add allowances, say HRA, I'm going to add another 3,000 and maybe another one for housing, let's say another 3,000, and I'm just going to go ahead and save. So that's how you configure your salary. Now, the same thing, right? If you have multiple employees and if you want to do it at a bulk level, we need to navigate into settings, payroll. You have, sorry, you have an option that says configure salary and bank details of all your employees. So you click on manage for that. And this is where you can update all the information for your employees. You can either use the sheet itself, it will allow you to add in the details. Okay. Or you can go ahead and download the sheet, make the changes and update the information and re-upload it again. So if that's more feasible, feel free to do that because their copying and pasting becomes easier. But here again, you will have to double click and add the information. So whatever is preferred, you can do that. Further, you can add social security contribution. You can add the payment method, account holder information, their bank details, and all the other information that's important for payout option. Feel free to fill up these and then just re-upload it again. So this is the best way to do it in bulk. One thing to note, please don't make changes or delete any columns when you're trying to re-upload this document because it's also going to give you an error if any of the columns are missing or any of the columns are incomplete. It's going to give you an error. So ensure that everything is filled up the right way and you can re-upload it. And this is only when you're doing it in bulk. Okay. Now, let me go back to the profile that we created. Okay, so we covered salary creation. Now, at an individual level of a profile, if you want to change paid via option, you can click on paid via over here, edit, choose whether it's check, exchange house, or bank, and you can proceed adding the information forward on the specific payment details. If you're doing it in bulk, you just have to add it in the columns, if that's more easier. But if you're doing it individually, there's multiple steps here that you need to follow. Okay. So I'm here back to the profile. I'm going to leave it as cash. Now, apart from that, you have your other items. One includes to be a variable pay. Now, what is variable pay? Again, variable pay may consist of your overtime, your bonuses, any commissions can be dealt with under variable pay. So how do you do it? You simply click on add variable pay, choose the item, whether it's bonus, commission. Maybe in my case, I'll just go ahead and choose commission. So the open month is December. I'll just go back to the month and say I'm going to add 3,000 as commission. I can add multiple, types of variable pay. Update the date again. Say bonus 5K. Okay. So accordingly, I can add multiple variable pays and I can just go ahead and save changes. And once done, it's going to add in the numbers and it'll show you the gross pay in totality. Variable pay can also be added in bulk, and I will show you a little later how you can do it. So now once you add the variable pay, the next option is adjustments. Here you can add your additions, deductions, and recurring deductions. Additions can be anything like, if you're giving them an advance or a loan, you can consider it to be an addition. Deduction can be anything from a penalty to a fine. You can add that under deduction, or maybe in the previous month there was some miscalculation and the salary went too much. You can add the deduction in the next salary. And then you have recurring deduction. This is specifically around loans. I will speak in detail a little later. So in additions, again, the first part is reference ID, not necessary, but if it helps you keep better track of the type of addition you're talking about. If one employee can have multiple additions, right? So reference number is more like a unique number that that can help you differentiate in what record they're referring to, but it's not mandatory. So say this person is asking for an advance. Again, I will go ahead and choose the date. Let's say he's asking for 2,000. If there's VAT applicable, you can also add that. If there's any form of document as proof, you can also go ahead and add that. So I'm going to add this as an addition. That's been added. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a deduction. Maybe this employee reached late. Okay. So, or maybe let's say there was a traffic fine. I'm going to go ahead and choose the deduction and say they got a fine of 500. Again, if there's a document, you can always upload it and click on save. So there's your deduction. Now, recurring deduction is helpful when, an employee takes a huge amount of loan from you. Okay, let's say loan, and they require some time to pay you back. So considering this employee has taken around 20,000, okay, and they want to pay it in the term of, let's say, 5 months. Okay, sorry, a term of, 8 months. Okay, so this is how it would get distributed on the basis of the dates, and this will be automatically deducted from the payroll, wherein you don't have to go and additionally, add in a deduction for the loan amount that they've taken, but the system will automatically have this deducted from their salary from your end. So this is where you can save a lot of time, especially when employees take loans. Now, if the employee says, hey, maybe on the second month, I won't be able to pay you. So can you adjust this amount with the other months? That can be done. So if I take this off here, It'll give me a red alert that the amount has reduced. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust it with the other months. And then sum it up. And then the second month over here remains empty, where there will not be an automated deduction in their payroll. Okay. So once done, again, if there's any proof of document, you can apply that here, and I will go ahead and save it. So that's about adjustments. Okay. Now, adjustments also has a dedicated report that you can view in terms of the employee information, of how much has been, the addition, how much has been the deduction. So you will get to see it based on the previous closed months or the existing months. So that information is available for you. And then you also have filters that will help assist you in getting the actual data that you require. So now that I've shown you variable pay and additions, let me show you how you can do this in bulk. So when you come to the payroll table, in the right side, there's three dots where it says mass upload variable pay, mass upload additions, and mass upload deductions. So if I click on mass upload variable pay, you can either download the sheet, update the data, and re-upload it again, which again is the most easiest way of doing it. Or else you can just use this interactive sheet to add in all the information and update the dates. One thing to note, if a specific employee has multiple variable pays, the sheet will have to be individually filled twice and re-uploaded, because as you can see, the pay item is just one. You cannot add multiple. So you will have to add the first sheet. Maybe this person has bonus. They also have commission, and they also have overtime. So in this case, you will have to upload the sheet three times. First, filling up the bonus, adding the information, upload. Then second, come back to variable pay bulk upload. Again, go and select commission the second time and then upload, and simultaneously for the rest. So depending on how many variable components are there, you can choose to re-upload the sheet multiple times so that it can collectively come as, the detailed information on the employee um, profile. Like I can show you here, back to the employee. If you upload it multiple times, it is going to be visible as the multiple variable pay options that you've chosen. Okay, like I said, now here, obviously you get the columns, but when you're doing it in bulk, it will not come up as columns, but you'll have to multiple times upload it. Okay, so that's about doing it in bulk. And however we've done it for variable pays, you can do it the same way for additions. It's the same interface. All this can be done in bulk the same way. It's basically the same steps that you need to follow in order for it to be available on the payroll table.